to get started today with the Canberra Gunners, of course, the inaugural premiers or champions of the NBL1 East competition in 2022, looking to get back to the top of the mountain. And Garen, a great way to start is by getting Glenn Morrison back, James Toohey back. Garen, talk to me about those two players. How big is it having your two stars back?
Yeah, definitely. We speak about them a lot, and they're the 1-2 punch of Canberra. A shooter that can provide shooting off screens, catch and shoot, can be assertive, aggressive, get to the basket. And then Glenn Morrison, pick and roll big, really strong, can finish, has a nice spin move in his package, and can really get to the free throw line when needed. So yeah, two guys worthy of contracts, and just another two guys that can ball out in this league and put numbers on the board.
Yeah, big time. And speaking of them balling in league, why are they not in the NBL? Why is Glenn Morrison not in the NBL? This is actually ridiculous. NBL teams out there, this is why we follow NBL1 more, because it's more honest to the talent. So get Glenn Morrison an NBL contract next season. James Toohey too as well. Chad Axtell is also tearing it up in the NBL. But a lot of role players back for the Canberra Gunners. One of the most electric players to watch, Lockie Smith, man, when he dunks, you really feel it. Cam Pender's back, great rebounder. One of those good forwards that very reliable for Canberra. Derek Elmfonwu, I'll never get his name right. Remember we had his brother Bob Ross in the Gunners final as well. So sorry about the mispronunciation. It's very hard. So if anyone's got a nickname for Derek out there, Derek and the Dominoes, I know that was a 70s band. Maybe we can get that one going. Zach McDermott's also back, and Austin Clark has re-signed. But there is a big return happening, and in the wake of Pietro Badalassi moving to the Bears, which we'll get to soon.
Is it Derek and the Dominoes?
No, it's Will Mayfield. He's back. Was of course a Canberra junior. Was in the All-Star 5 in 2022. Garen, he was such an important part of their finals run. I remember in that semi against Illawarra, he absolutely torched them. So you can see why he was in the All-Star team. Of course, played last season with the Mount Gambier.
Pioneers.
Nice.
He's pioneering his way now back to Canberra. So it should be interesting. Canberra's and a lot of these other teams are really making a dent in their roster and putting some key players that are pushing for championship contention. So
yeah, so there's definitely a big three there with Mayfield, Morrison, and Toohey. That's your baskets covered, and defensively always play a very good brand of basketball, the Canberra Gunners. So they'll be in title contention again. Of course, Badalassi not returning, but we will get back to that soon. So Will Mayfield ready to step up. Moving over to the women's, the Canberra Nationals. Abby Kettles is back, which is massive, Garen.
And so is the new Kettle Chips flavour. Go check it out. That's in US Harris Farm, yeah.
Yeah, it would be great to pick up Abby Kettles. I mean, of course, always spicy and very good again in the basket, good passing up. A big centre for them. I mean, last year they had Izzy Bourne, who we're not too sure is coming back, but if you've got Abby Kettles, your paint's really covered. And meanwhile, Garen, their biggest player, Lizzie Tonks. Yeah, Lizzie Tonks is back for another season. Garen, a dynamic point guard, Lizzie Tonks.
Currently balling in the WNBL, so talented. And I remember she came to North and put up numbers on the board, about 18, 19 points a game, so she can get them up, and she can get them up quick, good shooter.
Yeah, so, I mean, Lizzie Tonks, Abby Kettles, great start to building that roster, a good spine there. Of course, they do have a familiar face coming back from college. It's Callie Bourne from Idaho State. She was a Canberra junior, Garen, and she's a dynamic scorer all over. I mean, last year I felt Lizzie Tonks took a lot of that load. Of course, Duffelmeyer put up buckets too, but having that second scorer that they could have now in Callie Bourne is really important. And good to see Canberra juniors coming back to Canberra. I mean, they've got a really strong basketball culture down there at Belconnen. And it might just be the missing ingredient to take Canberra to that next level, yeah. Garen, moving on to the City of Sydney Basketball Association, also known as the Comets. They've had a big off-season, of course, coming off their first season in NBL1 East. And they've made a big coup to start off with. Bawali Bales, the boy from Redfern, is coming home to the Sydney Comets. What a massive signing for the Sydney Comets. Garen, what do you know about Bawali Bales?
Yeah, we spoke about him last time as well. He's just ultra quick, can get down the floor, run and gun, play to his pace. Working on that outside jump shot quite a lot in that defense, and just trying to stay composed in higher leagues, now playing with the Illawarra Hawks. So a lot of talent coming down to Comets Junior, and his brother also, TJ Bale, was playing, I believe, 14s.
Yeah, nice.
Comets this year, so talent runs in the family, and yeah, bringing his talents back to Comets and putting up hopefully going to put up big numbers.
Yeah, you got to think he
contribute
will.
to winning culture down in Illawarra.
Yeah, because Wiley at this point in his career is still trying to break through to becoming, a reliable role player or even a star in the NBL. So to get that green light,
Lucky connection helps as well. Having Lucky be an assistant for Illawarra.
Yeah, and Lucky Lonergan is back this season as well. So congratulations to him. Obviously, a no-brainer for the Sydney Comets to bring Lockie back. So you got to think that connection paid off there. And it's not just the big names either for the Comets men. Of course, we did mention earlier Johnny Sonogoratz is back, which is big. But a player that I want to talk about who's going to be backing him up, who we actually did get a chance to see a lot of last year, is Ben White. He's joining the Comets from the Hornsby Coringa Spiders. He really had a strong finish to the year. In fact, was pivotal in the Spiders' only win in the season. I mean, he put up massive numbers, Ben White. And I think learning under Johnny Zenogoratz, he might take his game to the next level. So keep an eye out for the White Widow.
More experience. Well, no longer a White Widow. He's related to the Comets. Maybe like a white shooting star or something. I don't know.
That's the White Dwarfs type of star, but he's not that small. So
he's not that small, but learning off Johnny will probably help, having experience centers like that. He's a pick and roll big, and if he's not getting touches, then he's trying to get hustle points and rebounds and trying to find ways to score. So yeah, had some strong games. Had a 20-point, 15 rebound game last season, so can definitely put up numbers and is a rebounding scorer. So just a bonus for Coach Lockie. Yeah,
and joining him as well, we've got Nick Fang, a long-time Sharkies favourite, moving up to the Comets.
Sides,
filling in the bench really well. I mean, maybe even starters here. Of course, it's in NBL1, we always say it's about depth. If you can have young players like Ben White coming through and vets like Nick Fang on your bench, you've got a really good core going there, as well as the young gun Anthony Mundine. I think he's the son of former St. George Illawarra Dragons winger, Anthony Mundine. Also had a boxing career, but we don't really follow boxing that much. We follow rugby league, mate.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't? You do?
Well, rugby league's awesome. Shout out to the Bears. We follow boxing here and there as well.
Yeah, so he's a young gun to watch. He's been dominating in the state league. So keep an eye out on him as well. Moving over to the women's. Wow, they've had a lot of big news this off-season. The Sydney Comets women's team.
Spitfire, let's go.
Here we go. Sarika Shillingsworth is back. Of course, a familiar face around Alexandria, Redfern, the whole southern suburbs of South Sydney. Of course, played for the Sydney Uni Flames, played Seaball with the Sydney Uni Sparks. Hashtag bring back Seaball. I don't know, maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. 3v3 as well. Of course, in 2017 was the Sydney Comets Waratah player MVP. Played Waratah with the Spiders previously. Has played rugby league with the Redfern All Blacks as well.
Really?
As well as Grudine and AFL. So Sarika Shillingsworth is just, what is that, 4 sports he's played semi-professionally?
Multi-talented, that's impressive.
So and it'll be great to have her back with the Sydney Comets. We say it's got a lot of players, but a veteran presence, which is very important in these long seasons. And of course, a very capable scorer. So that's a big signing for Shirley Gorman's team. Shirley Gorman is also back, Garen.
Yeah, running it back, why not? The culture in Comets is continuing to build, so it's good to see these young players step up.
And speaking of youth, Garen, Alexandra K-Rose is back, a big part of this Sydney Comets team. Of course, Jada Crawshaw has gone over to university, so K-Rose is really going to step up in that bigs position, but more than capable. Moving it down from Mackay, one of our, I just say 5th favourite team in NBL1 North. From the Meteors is Davida Dale, so a new import signing for the Sydney Comets, because played with the University of Rhode Island. In college, she averaged 12 points, 8 rebounds and 5 assists per game, which really says, maybe numbers lie sometimes, but she is an all-rounded player, Garen. When you watch the highlights, do a bit of scouting. She's a great passer, it was like that up in Mackay. Also gets to a ton of rebounds as well, isn't necessarily the biggest player, and has a very, very quick trigger. So big news for the Sydney Comets, because it'll be interesting to see who they pair with her in the back court, whether Charlotte Hill will be back. You got to think Panusis is coming back. I'm just guessing. Panusis leads Sydney Comets, so we'll see how it all fits in. But
in due time, we'll find out. Hopefully,
so far a great off-season from the Sydney Comets. All right, Garen. Now it's time to head south to the border to talk about the Southern Vale homes Albury-Wodonga Bandits, bit of a mouthful, but we love them. New signing for the men's team, a centre from Victoria, Callan McDonald. So I guess he's moving north then. It was playing with the Melbourne Tigers last season, has a ton of experience in NBL1 South. And going from what we can see from watching his game tapes, looking at statistics, a very conventional centre, great at setting the pick and roll. We can run a bit of offense out of him in the high post, can back down, and just does all the dirty work, because as we know, Boogie Parks isn't coming back this season, so good for them to lock in an experienced centre who already has that NBL1 experience, and definitely plays his role really well, and maybe sometimes pop off 15, 20 points. Very solid signing for the Albury-Wodonga Bandits. An explosive signing on the other hand, moving from the Hills Hornets down to the border, it's Sean Montague Garron. It's big. It's a big signing.
Big, it's huge. Well, Sean Montague, I compare him to like a Jonathan Isaac kind of player. Really lengthy, can use his height and size to play defense, athletic enough to throw it down, will give you 10, 15 rebounds a night, hustles, working on that outside shot, so occasionally can give you 1 to 2 threes a game. Just a good all-around player, and Bandits got a gem. Bandits got a really good player, and they're definitely in contention for title the way they just keep signing players, and Sean Montague is about to shake it up, so watch out.
Almost bigger news, I don't know how to rank all this, but also huge signing for Albury-Wodonga, moving from the Illawarra Hawks now, is Will Davo Hickey Karen. Wow.
That's another one,
They're just stacking the line.
Always just stacking up the checks and paying out for some good talent.
Yeah.
And so they should, and they got Davo Hickey, a long-time Hawk, or for the last few seasons was a part of the Hawks. Now moving over to Albury, so shifting it up a little bit, just a few hours down the road, quick drive. And Albury again have some veteran experience on their team, so experience, youth, imports, and that's a perfect crock-pot cook for a good championship contention team.
Oh, that is pretty tasty. David Hickey, and like another one of those players, similar to Wally Bales, is looking to break through in the NBL level, but in NBL1 he'll get the opportunity to take a few more shots, be the leader of this team. But wow, with Sinkarak and Cummings as well, this side's stacked, so they've pretty much replaced Jimmy Coleman as well with getting Hickey. The front office in Albury-Wodonga is just working magic, I gotta say. Doing a great job down there. Same with the women's team as well. So Ashley Hannon is back. So playing with Perth at the moment in the WNBL and having a great season, really coming along in leaps and bounds, and we'll be teaming up
Smiles and frowns.
more smiles than frowns, I gotta say. Because she'll be teaming up with Lauren Jackson. So what I was saying in the first episode about the potential master and apprentice situation going on there, you could play them next to each other because Ash Hannon's very versatile. She can play the perimeter as well, despite the fact she's got big body, very strong as well. So can do a lot for a big. And then you pair that up next to Lauren Jackson. That is, I'm going to say, maybe the best front court. Actually, no, you know what? It is the best front court in NBL1.
I can say that much. It's going to be tough to guard when you've got two skilled bigs going at it. It's almost like when they had Unique Thompson back then, and then they had Lauren Jackson, just two capable 2010 players. So
it's actually ridiculous. They've just got a lot of height in that front court. Good role players coming back as well. Molly Rice, Sarah Millingham, good glue players. Of course, we had bad news that Emma Mahadi is out for the season. Will be an assistant coach. So best of luck to Emma on her recovery. That's a huge blow, but still contributing, right, Karen?
Contributing, providing knowledge. Doesn't want to waste her time not being with the team. So contributing when she can and where she can.
Yeah, what a legend. I mean, it's just great. Could easily just be on the sidelines, not be involved. But good on Emma for stepping up there and helping Sammy Mack in his debut season as a head coach in NBL1. From the border town to the foot of the mountains, let's talk about the Penrith Panthers. Penrith is doing good things. He's back, baby. King Kieran's is back on the throne in Penrith. Going combo guard, crafty as they come. Unselfish, but can also score in a hurry as well. This is exactly what the Penrith Panthers need. Of course, Ben Kieran's had Waratah experience with Penrith Panthers earlier before moving to Hills in the NBL1 era, but it's great to have him back, especially go with a young side. I think having Kieran's either running the pointer and the two guard will really give this team a bit of direction and a lot more scoring options. As will Jordan Cowie as well, who's moving Another Penrith guy moved to Hills and now back to Penrith. That's 2 homecomings for Penrith, and he'll be a good addition for them as well. They need a lot of depth in that Penrith team because first year in NBL1 they had a very young squad, and even the older players, they did have experience, but not a whole lot of NBL1 experience. So adding to their stocks there, and Garen, that is to go along with the Fatui brothers. Yes. It's good to see them. The Fatui
team,
what do you
youth league, the NBL1 last year? It's like the Markeith and Marcus Morris twins.
Yeah, it's hard not to
really,
compare
it's
to them.
really not hard to compare them to that comparison. They both can stretch the floor at times and hit threes like they did in their youth league finals. They're capable at posting up and showcasing their post moves in their repertoire. Capable of hitting game winners as well. So it's just good to have them back. Someone Jared can really rely on.
And moving over to the women's side, big part of their team last year. Unfortunately, went down with an injury, but
really unfortunate.
She's back. It's Tali Tapea. I mean, Garen,
so much experience. Playing WNBL back in the day, and now with the Caps most recently. Played in Penrith Waratah League a few seasons back as well. Plays at her own pace, can really stretch the floor, hit threes, can drop dimes when needed, drive and dish, very capable of that. Biggest thing is she plays to her pace and wasn't forced anything. So it's good to have the reliable, probably the biggest leader on the team last season, and just shame to go to injury. Her and Meg Jefferson started to connect really well. Injury went down, so good to have her back. Hopefully can stay injury free. And that's the Penrith Panthers.
And she'll get plenty of shots in this team as well. Chloe Williams and Dominic Faber as well. Players coming back for Penrith. Chloe Williams getting better and better every season. Still quite young for NBL1, so interesting to see if she can take it to the next level this season. But Penrith, not a whole lot of news for the women's squad, but so far.